There's so much space. You're not late with that. Just because some jerk is internet famous at 18 doesn't mean that you, with all your wealth of experience and failures, can't share that and take people along the journey as you're just getting started. So just start.
Hey everyone, Travis here, and thanks for checking out our space today. This was episode number 13 of Web3 Matters, and our topic of conversation today was video editing. Now, let me tell you ahead of time, if you have any interest at all in video editing, you don't want to miss this episode. It went to a level that we could have never anticipated, and this is probably one of our most value-dense episodes that we've ever had. In a nutshell, we had two guests arrive, and both of them had well over 100,000 followers on each of their respective YouTube accounts. Not only have they been creating video content now for a very long time, but they each came at it from a very different and unique angle. Not only that, their personalities were electric, and they just were so generous with the amount of advice and insight that they were just sharing with us. It was absolutely incredible. This is definitely one of the episodes that I plan on coming back time and time again for a very long time, just to make sure that I extract every single piece of value from this episode. So thanks again for joining us, and I hope you enjoy.
So tell me, Chris, are you at over 100,000? Oh, you're well over 100,000 now, but on YouTube, you've been crushing that space now for how long, my friend?
So I just passed the 100K mark maybe like a month ago or so, and then got the plaque, and it's very weird, like me being like, yay, I passed 100K, and that was like such a huge life goal for so long with that old business. I haven't been running that business now for like a year, but it's just still been growing because I spent so many years pumping out those videos for it. But it wasn't until people saw the trophy, until they saw the plaque, all of a sudden people cared. It was so weird. Like, it's not real unless you hold a physical representation of your achievement. So that was interesting. But it was cool. I kind of stopped working on that channel like a year ago, and then it just creeped all the way up and grew another 10K, and finally passed the mark. So I'm pumped. I'm glad I checked that box, and I'm over it. No more vanity metrics. I do not care about the followers, the subscribers, or any of that stuff. But at least I climbed that mountain at least once. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And if anyone's curious here, Chris did post a video of the unboxing of the plaque. It was epic. It was epic. First of all, I admire that's kind of your gauge. You're not going off the vanity metrics. Actually, that's the first time I ever heard that term, and I really like that a lot. That really resonates to my core and gives me a whole other level of appreciation for you, my friend. Just kind of on the topic of your YouTube channel for now. I guess just to kind of share with the room here, kind of my experience with video editing. I've just kind of got into it, I would say, over the last 3 months. There was something kind of that, before going on too many tangents here. I just kind of I've been really kind of pushing the Twitter presence here, maybe for the past 6 to 8 months here. And I come from a trading background, and for the longest time, I had zero creative outlet. And, partially that's, I've been deep into kind of like the background, very scientific, logical approach. So there just wasn't really any room for that. But then the second that, I don't even remember what it was, but all of a sudden it was like a light went off in my head, and just the thought of, I wonder if creating video content could be a thing. And it just really stuck with me. And I remember getting in, checking out actually your content, and then content from a couple other people in the space here, just kind of, and learning the process of how to actually produce a video. It was kind of one of those scenarios where it was just love at first sight. And the biggest thing about it was having that creative outlet back in my life. And honestly, it's completely changed the game. It's meditative. It's you can literally take your ideas and bring them to life if you put enough research and effort into it. And it's just been such a cool journey. And man, I want to thank you so much just for all the tips and all of the knowledge that you've just freely put out there for the rest of the world to see. Just every step of the way, like trying to keep my videos concise, editing out the dead air, different techniques that you've used with like what is it? My brain's a little scattered right now.
There's with the one about the hook. That's probably the most important one for people to know is like, if you're going to make videos, just, you got to hook people in right off the bat. So, yeah.
Yes.
That's the only one I'll link up, but I figure it's a good one because that's how your video should start for sure.
Perfect, man. Perfect. And honestly, any other links or anything you want to pin up there, the Jumbotron is yours here. So feel free, creative license to have at it, my friend. Perfect. So Quantic. Shall we just dive right into it? Let's get this going here. Where are you at? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. I actually wanted to start the space after these charts. I want to start by asking some questions to Chris about his background, because I think he has a lot of interesting stories as well. But yeah, I want to know, Trav, how are we this week? Are we bullish? Are we bearish? Is it anything fun happening in the market?
So it's one of those things where the anticipation is building. So here's my idea. There's not a whole lot of people in the audience today, so let's try and keep this nice and concise. But if you go up to the Jumbotron, everyone, you could take a look at the charts that I've posted. I've posted Bitcoin, I've posted Ethereum, and then Solana. The first one I'm going to grab is the Bitcoin daily chart. Now, the most interesting thing to see is I've kind of drawn this range between these two horizontal yellow lines, and you can see that's where Bitcoin has actually been stuck up in this range since the middle of March, actually. And if you go to the hourly chart on the left, I've drawn this wedge, and this is it's like a textbook wedge. You have these liquidity grabs every once in a while where price jumps outside of it to kind of give people the impression that, oh, we're breaking out, we're actually going to move now. But what it is, it's actually they're fake outs. It's there's a whole theory behind it, but basically it's a liquidity grab so that people with a whole lot of money out there can basically they just maximize their positioning, I think, is the easiest way to put it. But you can see that as price is literally just compressing every hour into the very tip of this wedge, the thought and the theory and what typically happens in my experience is at one point price is literally just going to explode from there in one direction or the other. Now, my hope is that it breaks to the upside and blasts through that resistance at just shy of $29,000. But in my experience, what typically does happen first is it makes the false move. So it may either break, if it is going to go inevitably to the upside, it'll break down, it'll have a super long tail, probably test that bullish order block, that blue rectangle, before making its actual move where it skyrockets up and tests those highs again and hopefully breaks through. My hope is that in order to break out of this range that we've been stuck in for so long now, we need volume. So whether that's going to take place as a macroeconomic event to get eyes in the charts, whether it will happen naturally, that people have just been watching this wedge being compressed for so long that it will actually break through with enough momentum to escape this range. It's tough to say for sure. There's a couple things that kind of suggest there's a slightly higher odds of it breaking to the upside than the downside. A lot of kind of macro long-term indicators. I've heard a bunch of things about there being accumulations from whale wallets and things like this. So there's that. Also, we are over the 50% level in this range. And typically that is a bearish sign. You know, it shows us that the bears are stronger than the bulls in this place. But I'm not going to make any firm decisions until I actually see what happens. And I will only ever play what I see on the chart. So I actually very rarely do I see price compress right to the absolute very tip of the wedge like this. This is crazy. And this makes me think that there's going to be a pretty large move coming up over the next couple hours even. So I'm keeping my eyes closely on this one. Yeah, so that's kind of my idea for Bitcoin. You guys have any other questions? Anything you want me to kind of explain a little bit more before I touch briefly on Ethereum next?
On my side, I think it was pretty clear, man. I'm also expecting what is going to happen with this one. It looks very interesting.
Yes, Ethereum. So yeah, I'll jump into Ethereum real quick. I'll jump over to the daily chart first, which is the one on the left here. So yeah, I mean, Ethereum, look at that. It's been so strong, like consistently putting in higher highs, higher lows. I don't even see an area where there really is a lower low, besides the one kind of the end of February there. But yeah, it is staying true to this ascending channel here. It's absolutely wild. The next real level of resistance, we've got two of them. We've got this just below the 2000 mark. That is the yearly pivot. So those typically do represent very, very strong support and or resistances. And in this scenario, it will be a resistance. So it will take some effort to bust over that. But then we also have that red line on top of that. That's the really strong high. So you can trace that all the way back to the left where we put in that high last August. Likely there are still some orders on that level. So some sell orders rather, because you can see when price did hit that level way back when, how forcefully and how quickly it just shot right back down. So my thought is that level will either provide a very strong resistance. So it will either deflect price or price will be stalled there unless we get just a crazy amount of volume to push us right through, which I have also seen. But man, yeah, Ethereum just looking super strong. Absolutely incredible. Continuing to be a force in the market here. And if we look really closely here on the hourly chart, I've drawn that green rectangle. You can just see, basically what I love to see is that it's in the past. So let's say looking around April, we can see how strong, beginning of April rather, we can see how strong of a resistance that was, but now it is actually acting as support. And that's one of the fundamentals of trading, is that resistance, once broken through, will act as support. So the fact that price has come down and stopped at that level is another bullish sign. It shows that we've got a really strong support underneath us, and hopefully it will allow us to kind of catch our breath and allow price to shoot back up and try making some higher highs again. You can see there is some resistance in the way. We've got the top of the ascending that column there, but we also have those two red rectangles, and those are bearish order blocks. So likely, again, there will be some sell orders hanging out there. So when price hits it, it will either slow price down or deflect it completely. But then if we look underneath those blue boxes, those are the bullish order blocks. So the same thing in reverse applies to that. And that's pretty much that. So I'm hoping that this level here will hold price, and price will go back up and retest the high of the range, if not break through it. I know once Bitcoin makes its move, often it will bring the other assets with it. So looking forward to seeing how that goes. And that's about it for Ethereum. Any feedback on that there, guys? Any feedback, or shall I just keep blasting through to Solana here?
Blast away, bro. Just keep blasting.
Blasting. Let's do it. All right. Last but not least here, we've got Solana. I actually put up the pictures backwards. So we'll go for the one on the right. That's the daily. So we can see we are in I like to call this a descending wedge inception, if you will. We are in a descending wedge within a descending wedge. Descending wedges in kind of the theory behind this formation is that this is a bullish pattern. So there is a higher chance of us seeing a breakout to the upside as opposed to the downside. So again, we are nearing the tip of that wedge. And we also have a very strong support underneath us. So yeah, as we are nearing that tip, I'm hoping that we will see a breakout one way or another. If we do break up, I would hope to see a retest of that $27 area. That has been and continues to be the absolute line in the sand that price has not been able to break above. You can see all the resistance between where price is now and that level. There's two pretty large bearish order blocks, so it will take some work and some volume to break through it. Again, we're looking pretty decent. We're sitting on a quite a significant volume ledge on the right hand side there. We're just hanging out right in there, keeping us nice and safe. If we break down, however, we have got some room to go. So the first support, I did not draw it on the chart, but it's the $16 level. If we break through that, then it's the $14.50 level. So yeah, just hoping that we see a break to the upside, but those are kind of the levels that I'm looking at for the downside. And I don't think there was really anything else to touch on for the hourly chart. It basically shows just a zoomed in version of what we were just talking about here. You can see just that how strong of a support that green rectangle has been. And I'm just hoping for the best for crypto and all. And I mean, if Bitcoin makes a big move, more often than not, it does carry everything else with it. But stay tuned and find out. So that's about everything. I think that was probably one of the briefest crypto reviews I've done yet. I don't know. I'm just sitting here. I'm really excited to get into the video editing topic. So, gentlemen, in saying that, shall we jump into it?
Of course, let's go.
Let's go.
Love it.
Can I start by asking Chris, to introduce yourself, because I know that some people enter later, so it would be nice if you can tell us a little bit about your background.
Cool. Yeah. I'm just a content creator, man. I've been doing this stuff for a really, really long time. I got my start filming skateboarding when I was a little kid, and I would be the one that actually enjoyed holding the camera when my buddies were doing tricks and all that stuff. And then when I'd go look back at the footage later, and this is in the 90s, and when I'd look back at the footage, whenever I was filming, it looked nice, right? Because I cared. Whenever they were filming me, it looked terrible. And I'd always be like, damn, these guys suck. And I didn't really know that was going to be what I ended up doing, but it definitely, I got my start with that. I used to love watching all the skateboard videos when I was a kid. I was subscribed to a VHS delivery service that once a month, 411 Video Magazine would show up. I'd run to the mailbox, I'd check it, and I'd be sad because it wasn't there. And then like 3 days later of doing that, it'd finally be there. I'd run inside and I would watch the absolute hell out of that VHS. We would watch it 100 times in that 30 days until the next one came up. And a lot of that was like watching, of course, the cool tricks and the whole culture of skateboarding and all that back in the day. But the filming, it was so cool to watch these guys with their fisheye lenses, and they'd keep the camera like an inch off the ground, and just it was really cool. And that was way before YouTube or anything like that. So fast forward a few years, I got really into cars when I was in like 18, 19 years old, and I just went really crazy and tore out an automatic transmission out of my car and tried and changed my car to a stick shift, and like all these things I was like learning as I went, documenting and sharing on the internet. And a few people came out to help me and just said, we saw what you're doing. We saw that you're sharing this crazy story of what you're trying to accomplish. You don't know what the hell you're doing. We do. So we'll help you. We'll come out and show you how to do some of these things. And then I kind of documented that process, and it was really, really cool to get to kind of learn from other people that shared their knowledge for no reason to me, just to see me succeed. And then they were kind of like in that journey with me. So we kind of all succeeded, you know what I mean? And so we accomplished this crazy goal, and I had this awesome car, and all these things were good to go. And I just kind of carried that ethos of help people because you know what to do and they don't, and you want to see them succeed. And one of the easiest ways to do that, I learned through that process, because that was early 2000s, was video. Video just cuts that down so much. The amount of hours I spent on message boards and taking pictures that were a maximum of 640 megabytes on a little floppy disk camera and uploading it. And I mean, it's terrible back in the day how many pictures I had to post and do all that stuff. And then all of a sudden introduce video in, like 2004, 2005, and it became much more straightforward to just capture something, load that, and send it off to people. And the funny thing was, because I was running a little company, it didn't even make sense to do it on the internet yet because there was no YouTube, right? So I was burning CDs that had like these mini websites on them. And every time I would send a product I was making these little lights that I was sending off to people internationally, and it would come with a CD that had the install guide on there because I knew I could load up video onto a CD and ship it off, and then these people would get it. It was like old school Netflix, you know what I mean? And so that was it. And all of a sudden, YouTube comes out. I didn't know that it wasn't Dropbox. That's kind of my go-to saying. I thought it's just where you load video so that you get a link to your video, and then you just send it to people that way. And then I didn't have to send CDs anymore. So I started loading up a couple videos there, and then did a couple little startups and tried some stuff with partners. Found out I'm a terrible partner. I'm only a number one. I'm never like it. In case anyone ever wants to start a business with me, yeah, don't do that. That won't be good. It's not going to work out. Partners, me, nope. So fast forward a few years, I just bought my first house, and I'm kind of like running my business from there and filming video just to kind of upload, because I was just trying to show that I could do things on the internet and show people how to do them. But it was mainly a flex. It was mainly like, look how good I am. Is how I was doing, like getting more customers for my custom lighting business. And I had hired a guy that he was super into YouTube and watching that stuff. I still thought YouTube was Dropbox. So when this guy told me that there was a YouTuber that had reached out and wanted to work with us on something, I was like, what's a YouTuber? Like, what does that even mean? And I'm like, I mean, I've got these people that apparently are like, they're like following the videos that I post up to see my work. So I'm just like, whatever. I don't really know what subscribers mean, but I've got a few thousand of them. That's okay. But like, no plan, I have no idea what YouTube is. And then I start looking into this guy, and this dude is like freaking acquiring businesses and just this branding monster. He was actually like kind of a parasite. He was a bad dude, it turned out. But it kind of clued me into this whole world that these YouTubers had power and they had influence, and they were able to move products, way more than a regular business, and they had reach. And so that kind of opened my eyes to it. And that was in 2016. And so I figured for the first time I would be filming these projects that I worked on. Now I'm going to turn the camera around and film me and talk to the camera like I saw this other guy doing. I'm thinking, I'm good on camera. This will be cool. I sucked on camera. I thought I was good. And then I started doing it, and I was like, I felt dumb. I didn't know what to say. I'm like, I'd reshoot the video 10 times in a row. I'd think I was being witty and funny. And man, I look back at those videos now, and I just bury my face in my hands. I'm like, oh God, they're so bad. There's no energy. I don't sound like I'm talking to people. I just sound terrified. And anyway, those videos suck, but I love that they're on YouTube and that you can kind of see the progression and like the little iteration of it, stepping up the camera and getting better at this, getting better at that, fixing lighting. There's a whole period. It's like freaking Picasso. Like I got a yellow period where my white balance was just off for years. It was just terrible. And then this YouTube kid that comes in, he's super internet famous, is working on his car. He's like, oh, I just put it on automatic, dude. Just put the camera on automatic and just let it self-adjust. I was like, what? So it's crazy the amount of failure and little like pivots and things like that's happened along the way. But I'd say, yeah, 7 years after I decided that I really wanted to go for like building this channel that I found out wasn't Dropbox, I chipped away, and then I got right up to about the 90K mark. And I was close to my goal. I thought I was going to push really, really hard and get there as quick as I could from 90K to 100. And then I got a friend that hit me up out of the blue from one of the people I was talking with on Clubhouse a bunch. And she was like, hey, I did this NFT project. Do you own any NFTs? And I was like, I don't. She's like, do you know what MetaMask is? I said, I don't. And she spoon-fed me. This is a founder with 2 successful projects, 2 successful mint outs. She had customers like Steve Aoki and all these big deal people in the space. And she just took the time to spoon feed me, teach me all the things I need to know, download Brave browser and set up MetaMask and, seed phrase education and all that stuff on the fly for no reason, no value to her, just because she's dope. And she red pilled the hell out of me. And I swear, all that time, that 19 years of building that business, Flyride, right after that, I found this world and I went down the rabbit hole, and I literally just never came back. It all stopped right there for Flyride. And because of that, the years of hard work of loading all that stuff up, it continued to grow. It continued to passively generate income and lead people to online courses that I set in place for that business and all of that, and e-commerce products that, would keep selling just little by little, trickles, different revenue streams. But I never came back from that rabbit hole. So I shifted 100% into content creation for Web3 at the very end, basically the very beginning, January of 2022. And I've had the most success, income-wise here, more than I ever had with Flyride for all those years. And that was just me fumbling through and failing constantly and learning and seeing what I don't want to do. And it's nice. It's a cool place to be. So I'll leave it there, because I could literally talk for like 3 hours about myself. You don't want that. But I'll leave it there for now. Any other questions or things you want me to go further on? I'd love to.
Oh man! First of all, Quantic, you're the one who asked the question, so I want to give you the mic first here to respond to that. But I've got some things in the pipeline. The barrel is loaded, so I'm all set. I'm ready to go here. But Quantic, the mic is yours here to start off.
Thanks, man. Wow, so many interesting things that you mentioned. I felt like I was hearing the story of video production right from the beginning, man. That's amazing. So I think that, okay, the best way to go about it, Trav, because we probably have many questions, is that we go on sort of rounds, and then Chris can, share his experiences, and then we move from there. Does that sound right to you, Trav?
Sounds great to me, man. Let's do that. I'll let you get started.
All right. So the first question that I have is like, imagine that you are 20 years old again, and you're starting this journey. How would you start knowing what you know now?
Such a good question. It's actually the same advice I give absolutely everybody when it comes to literally anything that has to do with building a digital identity, building like anything on the internet. Number one, video is like your absolute easiest way to cut through all the noise and to stand out, because so many people will not do it. And the people that do decide to use video oftentimes have no idea where they're going. So I think this is not where you typically get advice, especially when it comes to content creation, but start thinking now, right off the bat, before you shoot your first video, about like, where do you want people to go? Are you going to build a website? Is there going to be a service? Is there going to be a product that sells? Is there going to be like something like, let's say the goal is money. Okay. Well, if you want to generate money, then you probably have to have a service or a product, right? You probably just can't be internet famous and people throw money at you. That's actually it's not really a thing. There's more to it than that. But let's just say that you want to, build a website or build a following that you own. And if Instagram takes away your big channel, that you're not left with nothing. So think about that before you shoot your first video. Is like, do you have any ambition to build a website? Because if you do, you can actually put a form in place right off the bat, Google form, free stuff, whatever, to just start collecting emails from people. And if you start that before you build any of these avenues that lead people there, you're essentially building what I call Rome, right? You're building like an epicenter, like something at the middle of all the things that you do. And then if you decide that that is what you really feel like that's the thing that you want to build, then you can always be chipping away at Rome. And then meanwhile, you can just start just building out all these different avenues to it. And what that looks like is you finally shoot your first video, right? It's going to be bad. It's okay. Like, it should be bad. Nobody starts off good. And I think that when you walk into it knowing that there's a reason you're making this video. You're not just making this video for views. You're not just making this video because it needs to succeed and be this home run thing that makes you go viral. And then, like, what? Where's it going to lead you to? If you don't have Rome that you've been thinking about in the back of your head, you don't even know why you made that video. You just made it because other people are making videos. That's not the way. The way is start thinking about where you want to lead people. Once you have that crystallized, or at least just started in your head, and that can pivot and change over time. But then you actually know in the back of your head why you're making that video as you're making it. And I would just say, don't edit it. Don't do anything crazy. Don't try to perfectly drop the video. The most important part is that you decide that you're going to post a video. You hit record. You talk to the camera, whether it's on your phone or camera, whatever, or a webcam. You hit record to start it. You yap a bunch. You hit record to end it. And then you post it. Don't, like, no other moves. That's it. That's your first road back to Rome. That's the very first one. And you're going to improve on that road over time and make more and more videos. And you'll start introducing better efforts and editing and different things like that. But the very, very first move, this is a super long answer to a very simple question, how to get started. You think about why you're going to do it in the first place. And then you just do it with no friction, no editing, nothing fancy. You just do it, and you get your very first step on building that muscle memory of recording a video and posting it. All the other things fall to the wayside as long as you can do that one thing. And now you've got your first road to Rome. So I'll keep expanding on that whole kind of metaphor as we go. But all right, next question. Let's go.
I love that metaphor. Build the roads to Rome, and the Rome being the why. That's like, so Chris, just to kind of shed some light, some full transparency here. I'm taking notes, and I've already gone through 2 papers. So this is an awesome one, man. So yeah, no, okay. On to the next one. First thing I wanted to mention was that you were talking about growing up in the 90s, taking videos of your friends doing skateboarding and all that stuff. Man, that just like hit to a dormant area in my brain. That's like me growing up, just so much time at skate parks, so much time. We were doing that on the ski hills as well, trying tricks, trying to get sponsors and stuff like that. It's interesting. I definitely also feel like that impulse. I mean, it wasn't even an impulse. There was like a pull towards wanting to film, but always just being more drawn towards actually doing the tricks and being the subject, I guess. But I just want you to know that I really very profoundly relate to that whole journey. And that's super cool that that's kind of really how it set things off. And man, super cool. So without further ado here, the first thing I wanted to kind of dig into a little bit more is hold on, I've got a list of questions here. So yeah, the first thing that I think is probably the most relevant to everyone here and most relevant to kind of the Web3 space, you did touch upon why of transitioning from a successful YouTube account, where you were making income, you had the 100K followers. Basically, you made that decision to start over from scratch on CT. So besides the clear financial incentive to do that, can you dive in a little bit more as to what it was about Web3 that really is kind of keeping you here? And let's chat about that.
Totally. No, I mean, I love the question. It's like, dude, it's so important for my journey that happened, because I was a little bit golden handcuffed to the automotive stuff. And I was building this whole thing and a skill set that I had been growing since I was a kid, that I love, like creating content like that, and helping people with it. And I loved that about cars, but I started to just really see behind the scenes of what was happening in that community and that car culture. And essentially, like, and it's a little bit of a jaded mindset, so forgive me, but it's just my story. It's how I actually feel about it. It's spend a bunch of money on stuff that you don't need, that doesn't actually help your life any, but it does get you in trouble. It leads to tickets. And then compete with everybody else who doesn't actually care about you, who's showing off the things that they bought with money that they should have probably used to better their life. But instead, you're all competing with who's the coolest, who spent the most money, who has the best stuff. You're getting in trouble for it. and it's a big toxic environment of, it's like a big pissing contest, right? And then here's me in the middle being like, oh yeah, guys, that's all a good idea. You should do that. And here's how. Let me show you. Oh, and then pay me so that you can learn how to more efficiently waste your time, not build health, not build wealth, and not build relationships, which are the three main verticals in business that anybody online should at least have one of, right? And I'm like, what am I doing? This sucks. I've built this big following here, and every time I want to make a really dope piece of content, I really want to edit it, I really want to pour my heart and soul into it, all I have to do is push publish, and then I've got that creativity, like, that itch is scratched, and I post it, right? Wrong. Those videos would fall flat, because you know what people wanted to know? How do I do that cool thing to my car? That's all they cared about. It wasn't about the content. It wasn't about the craft or the marketing or the intelligence behind, building funnels, or like, none of that stuff mattered. It was just, how do I make my already cool car a little bit cooler? And the only way that I was able to scale that and, keep the lights on for the family and feed the kids and wife and all that was to do it for higher and higher levels of cars. And by the time I was working on Lamborghinis and Ferraris, I was like, I don't like these people at all. They're insecure, rich bastards, and I'm not into it. See, here's the jaded part. And then they're just like flexing on broke ass kids and then telling them that it's a good idea. I'm like, they will always be broke ass kids if rich guys keep telling them that they need to spend their money on shit they don't need. It doesn't help them, doesn't move them along in life any, and it does actually get them in trouble. And so I think that to me was just like, I realized I built a super dope, valuable skill set, and I was deploying it in a trash ass community and environment. And I wanted out. I really wanted out, and I didn't know a way out. I felt trapped. And when I realized that there was this whole world out there that, like, I haven't even dug into the nerd stuff. I used to buy toys as a kid from Walmart. The day they dropped, I'd buy 3, keep 1, sell 2, and I'd get money orders from them on this new website called eBay. Like, dude, I was built for NFTs. Like, I think this whole culture for me is just like, it's what I needed so badly. So I guess that was the long answer. The short answer is this community, this whole Web3 space, I swear to God, saved my life. So that's why I'm here.
Wow, man. I appreciate you opening up like that, my friend. That's there's a lot of emotions involved in that transition, in that kind of self-discovery and acceptance. And man, that speaks a lot to me personally. You and your character. I love that is such a huge motivation in your shift to want to just get out of such a toxic environment, even though there seems to be, like the money was there, the opportunity was there, even though your work wasn't, it was kind of falling flat, like you were saying. I'm sure there was still ways to really kind of take advantage of all these rich white people. And well, sorry, I'm just assuming they're white. I'm just gonna backpedal a little bit on that one here. Yeah, no. So I really admire that, and I think that's really cool. And that's, from my experience here in Web3. Just that, I just love how that's just such a fundamental value that you just see all over the place. Is people here, they show up to make profits, but then as soon as they realize what Web3 really is all about, they stay for qualities exactly like that. Lift up the community, help people out around them, and just from my own personal growth experience, I personally believe that by wanting to be of service to others and really implementing that into your journey, that is going to give you energy along the way, and it's going to help sustain you in the long run. And man, just adds so much richness and value to everything it is that you're doing. And I love that, having that mindset coming in, these opportunities just appeared for you. They just materialized. Like you said, you're from a financial standpoint, this is so much more lucrative than anything that you experienced kind of in that Web2/YouTube portion of your career. And I think that's awesome, man. That fires me up. That just makes me feel so happy to be here. Just in the space, working towards bigger goals. It's a really validating story, and I love that. So yeah, thank you. I don't want to take up too much of the questions here. I got about 1,000 more. So Quantic, I want to check in with you here real quick. Oh, Chris, I see your mic's hot here. I want to let you respond.
The thing I was going to say was, one of the coolest things that I learned about this space is the decision makers are one DM away. They could be listening in the audience when you say something. They're right here. Like, if you're in the automotive space, you know how many middlemen there are to get to you? And to your point, man, the white guys were the least of it. Oh, Jesus. The rich white guys, they were easy. They were just insecure guys that had Corvettes. I'm talking about guys that I was worried. I was like, holy shit, that guy paid that invoice fast. If this guy gets pissed off, he's going to send ninjas to kill me and shit. So, like, dude, yeah, car people, big money. It's scary for sure. This space too, there's a lot of money, but it's also like you don't have to play at the highest levels to come in and be able to help somebody because, to the point about who you have access to, you have access to generally everybody. You can make an impact on pretty much anybody at any time. All you got to do is raise your hand, come up, say something that will help the person that you're trying to reach. Don't make it about you, make it about them. Speak to the needs that they have and let them know that you're the one with the solution for that problem. And there you go. You're going to make way, not only way more money, but you're going to make way more impact than pandering to the algorithms of social media and how many, 17-year-old kids think what you're doing is cool. Because let me just, kind of put a little bit of truth out there. No one gives a shit about NFTs on the internet. Just us. We're it. Don't show up to TikTok and start talking about pictures of monkeys and think that anyone else is going to care because they're just going to think you're a bozo for now. Later, they'll realize it. But for now, you're just a bozo talking about a picture of a monkey. So, yeah, there's that. Don't pander to that. Talk to the person who owns the collection of monkeys and then make videos about the pictures of them. So there's some advice.
Solid alpha. Absolutely solid alpha. Man, awesome advice. I think you're nailing it on the head. And it's interesting as well, kind of that description that you're saying, it really does exemplify the concepts of centralized versus decentralized. Like it's just amazing how literal and how expansive that term is when it comes to Web3, how you're not, there's a word I'm looking for. Gatekeeped. Yeah, I think that's probably the one. Like in Web 2, you have to climb this hierarchy, and then maybe you'll have the opportunity, if you kiss enough asses, to be able to speak to the CEO of a corporation. Whereas here, like any one of these people here in the audience right now could be multimillionaires, owner of projects, just but you would never know unless you maybe do a little bit of digging. And I think that's one of the coolest things about this space. Like you said, the accessibility to people and people just being humans and kind of everyone just being okay with being on the same level here. It's like nothing else. Actually, there's kind of to paint that a little bit deeper here. I like to rock climb. That's like my passion besides things that I do here on Web3 is I like to rock climb. And I realized one day that when you go to a climbing gym or you go to an area where you rock climb, it's the exact same thing. You show up, everyone is there because they love to climb. And because they love to climb, they want to help other people learn how to climb better. So you can literally go talk to any one of these motherfuckers and be like, hey, you're climbing awesome. Maybe how did you do this one specific move? And they will be so happy to tell you all about it. And you could be talking to a doctor. You can be talking to a lawyer. You could be talking literally to a bum on the street who is homeless, who just loves to climb and then dedicates everything that they have to get out to climb. It's the coolest thing, man. It just takes away all of the labels that society puts on people, and people are just there as humans with a common goal of wanting to succeed either in rock climbing or in this case Web3, and we're all in it together, and it's freaking magical, and I love it. So yeah, I'll quit monologuing here, but
real quick though, shout out to Colin who just popped in the room too. If you guys, I know we're talking about how to do different things. Colin's got amazing videos about how to make videos with your phone. So just free random thing happened. Colin popped in. Hey, Colin, follow this man because he's got a lot of videos that are very very in line with the kind of stuff that I make content about now. He's just probably not making them geared at people who care about pictures of monkeys like I do, or squirrels or turtles or whatever, insert NFT project character here. But yeah, making videos on your phone is definitely, it's the hack to get started for sure. So follow Colin.
Colin, my friend. Well, first of all, Chris, thank you for mentioning that. Colin, what a pleasure to have you here, my friend. Feel free to jump up if you want to kind of add any takes, add any experiences. Just send us a speaking request, and you are more than welcome to come join us. Honestly, anyone here, if you have any questions, any experiences you want to share, feel free to come on up. Everyone's more than welcome. This is a safe space. You won't be ridiculed. You won't be judged, anything like that. So yeah, feel free at any time. So, Quantic, I'm going to send you the mic back. I've been chatting for a while. Let's see. Yeah, it's all yours.
Yes, thank you, Chris, for the answer, for the nice answer so far. And also, Colin, I sent you a speaker request. So if you want to speak, just hit that button. If you can or you don't want to, that's okay as well. We are very glad to have you here. And what we are doing, just to give some context to the audience here, is having an open conversation about video production and in the context of Web3, of course, because our spaces are about Web3 in general, but we are super open to have discussions that are more general than that and even tangent to that, because what we are doing here with this space is trying to helping people to get into the world of content creation as well. Me and Trav are two people that are starting to create content just a few months ago, and we have been enjoying this journey, and we want to help others as well. So I don't know if anyone here in the audience wants to ask any questions to our friend Chris. Oh, I see Colin that joined as a speaker. How are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Doing good, bro. Nice to see you.
Doing really well, Colin. Man, what a pleasure it is to have you here, my friend. So incognito, I never would have known. This is awesome that you're joining us here today, man. And thank you for your support, and thank you for all you do when it comes to sharing your knowledge when it comes to content creation. Yeah, absolute pleasure. Yeah, what's going on with you, man? How's your day? What's happening on your end?
Yeah, day's been going good. I've been filming actually a lot of content, some of it on my smartphone. And working on that. And also just because Chris was talking about it, I am very interested in Web3. I not as deep or heavily have dug deep, but like I'm definitely convinced it's the future, and that even though for a lot of the general public, like, oh, NFTs are a scam, they've fallen off, whatever, like, no, it's gonna come back. It's gonna stay around. So yeah, I've peeked in here a few times every now and again, listened to the Web3 talk. So yeah, awesome to be here.
Man, that's awesome. That is awesome. If you don't mind, I'd like to kind of dig into that a little bit here. So if I can ask, so clearly there is the accessibility when it comes to filming with your cell phone. Is that kind of the main thing that you do, or man, you know what? This is leading to so many other questions that might be more significant. But basically, I just want to hear about you, what it is that you do, kind of what your goals are. Feel free to share with us anything that you're working on, anything that you want known public. Yeah, if you're feeling it, man, I'd love to hand you the mic and just get to know you a little bit better and hear what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, so I mean, my content creator journey kind of started back in 2014. That's when I started originally uploading content. It was nothing like super serious, but as a kid, you wanted to post YouTube videos, so that's what I did. And then eventually, I did kind of want to turn it into something. Fast forward to like 2018, I was working on an assembly line, and I was like, I'm just a number to these people. Like, I have no skills, no knowledge or anything. I need to do something about this. And I was working like 60, 70 hours a week. And I remember getting my tax return and seeing that I made a grand total of $30,000 working these crazy hours. And I was like, I got to find a way out. So I quit that job. I was still living at home. I started the YouTube channel I'm currently on, and then also was pursuing coding for a bit. The coding thing didn't work out. Then also I gave up on the channel a few times too. And what kind of inspired it, which originally it was called Mobile Creators, was when I would go out to film content, I eventually, saw the YouTubers with the DSLRs and the computers that can run the advanced editing software and all that stuff. And, I bought all that, but all the gear got in the way of me actually creating content to where I wouldn't just go out and have fun and shoot videos because, I got to take these two lenses, and I got to take this big camera, and I got to adjust my ISO and my shutter speed and aperture. And it became a headache to where I didn't want to go out and create content. So that's where it kind of inspired the start of my channel, which was like, I want to just take my phone and how do I make good videos just using my phone without having to get into all this complex stuff. And so that channel was on and off for a bit. And then 2020 came around, and this whole time I've been still I had to go back and get a job eventually, and I got married, but I was working in retail, living paycheck to paycheck. Just found out that my wife was going to have a baby. So I was going to be a father as well. And it's like, I still need a way out. I still need to get out of this rat race. And I was like, if I could just make an extra like $500 a month on this YouTube channel, it'd be life-changing for me. And so I committed to learning YouTube. I committed to trying to make this happen. And within 1 year, I was making an extra $2,000 to $4,000 on the side, just teaching people how to make videos on their smartphone. And then eventually, a little over 2 years after that, I was able to become full-time doing this. So that's my passion. I love helping people make videos on their smartphone. I'm hoping to have a course out here in the next month, kind of walking through a lot of those steps. But I've also have a ton of free stuff. So even if you don't want to go that route, I've got plenty of free content up there teaching video editing and making the videos look good and all that. And that's the main thing. Like, as someone who has the expensive camera, like, it is not needed to get started creating content. You can right out the gate start making videos right from your smartphone, and they can look probably like 80 to 90% just as good as someone with a DSLR. As long as you understand like some basics of, okay, this is how I set up my phone. I got to make sure my background looks good. I got to make sure there's lighting on my face. Make sure I'm not in a super echoey room. Like, you just apply those simple principles and you can get video that'll pass on any social media platform and be able to start growing a community or building up something around a project you're doing, like, totally doable. Like, you can go to Amazon and get like a $20 lavalier microphone with like a wind muffler. So if you are outside, that's covered. You can get like lights on Amazon for like 30, $40 for both sides. It's completely doable. So don't let gear hold you back. You just need to go out. You need to create just get started is the main thing that holds a lot of people back. You just have, as like Think Media would say, you just got to press record. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just go at it and make that stuff.
Bro, I need you to nerd out with me on these stages more often because I can't tell you like how many times in a week I will tell people, and I'm curious how often you give this advice as well, or if you do or not. Where I tell people to use their rear-facing camera. I'm like, don't do a selfie video where you're looking at your face on the camera because then you're not making eye contact. All you gotta do is flip your camera around, flip your phone around. You've got a way higher resolution camera, and you're not at all thinking about what your face looks like or looking anywhere except right where you're supposed to, right down that lens. How many times have you given that advice? I'm just curious, Colin.
Chris, I'm on the other side of the bridge.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I love the back and forth. So okay.
So with my channel, this might be also just motivating for anyone else. Like, I grew my channel from 0 to 100,000 subscribers. 90% of my channel, getting up to 100,000 subscribers, 90% was filmed on the cheapest iPhone SE, and then the next iPhone SE that was $400, and I just used the front-facing camera. I have my most popular video with 2.4 million views, just like a CapCut, how to edit in CapCut tutorial, filmed on the front-facing camera. Got plenty of likes. I got like 30,000 subscribers from that video. and I didn't get one comment saying, "Man, this video is too poor quality. Like, what's up with this? This guy needs to get professional." I do think though the back facing camera is way better quality, but I just don't know how much people will notice that difference on social media. But at the same time, I think you got a point, Chris. If you're going to be staring at yourself on the screen, it may be better to just flip it around and look at the camera lens, because people will definitely notice that you're just kind of staring at yourself and they're like, why aren't you making contact? Why are you making eye contact there?
Yeah, I think you know what really got me the biggest was cinematic mode on the damn iPhone 13. As soon as I got to see that, and I was like, oh man, why would I use my Sony with the 1.4 lens and the nice bokeh in the background, and all of these things? Well, I could literally just slap the stupid phone on on the ring light with the rear facing camera aimed at me, and it just looks as good, and it took no time. And half of it was because Colin, I've been putting out a video every day for the last 100 days, and it's just quick little tips. And bro, I mean, the honesty is like, I'd get off the couch at midnight and be like, shit, I didn't do my video yet. And I'd run out, I'd go out in my little office, I'd slap it on the tripod, bang out a 15-second video with a little tip in there, use cinematic mode, chop it up in, on the mobile editor, and get the video posted and be like, good, got it done. Had I do what I'm doing now, which is use the Sony, have the cute background and the fancy light, like all the dumb stuff, swapping SD cards and Final Cut Pro. Damn it, dude, it is not at all nearly as efficient. I spend way more time on those videos now. But man, people in this space, they like those flashy things. They like those. There's a dude here named Tally. This dude's spending like 12 hours on 30-second edits. Oh my God, that is a crazy use of time. I don't know about that from a business standpoint, but as an artist, Tally is amazing. So yeah, I love the point about nobody complained it wasn't good enough quality, and that is one thing I've always always led with is if what you're saying is valuable, number one, no one that complains has any merit to it anyway. If they're commenting on you didn't do a better job of giving them value, like that's not even worth worrying about. And then the other part about it too is that people are only there for themselves. They're not really there to see you anyway. They're there so they can get something out of what you said that they could put to use that makes them better or makes them feel good or something. Them feeling good has very little to do with you. You're just the conduit. So I think when people get out of their own way and realize like they don't have to look the best, they don't have to sound the best, they don't need the best gear, they don't need all that stuff because that's a them thing. But the audience is there actually, as a viewer, it's about them. So if you make it about the viewer, you're going to do a lot better than if you make it about look how good and sharp my image is. Look how good I look. Like, nope, not the way.
I've come across so many tiny channels. Like I'll be looking up like a product review or something, and I'll come across someone that's like 500 subscribers, but they have the most beautiful image. Like it's like holy cow! Like and yeah, kudos to them. They're an artist. They're doing an incredible job there. But at the same time, that nice artistic look is not helping them grow their channel. It's definitely the content. And I've watched someone for an hour on a webcam on YouTube when there was other videos being suggested to me, and I sat there and watched because the content was good. I was interested in the information, and definitely the actual content over the camera gear is definitely what's valued, especially in the whole shorts age with TikTok and Instagram reels. People are used to smartphone video, so they don't care. They're just after the information.
Well, what a treat, man. I want to pass it back to our actual host. I'm just a guest here, but literally, like, this is what fills me up. Yesterday, I did 5 different calls. So I was on stages or doing trainings or doing all these different things. At the end of the day, I was empty, dude. Like, I poured all the way out and didn't save anything for myself. And I was like, I was exhausted and I just didn't, like, all my fire was gone. I went out, and it's because it was me putting out the whole time, the whole day. But these kind of conversations are what charge me up. So I appreciate you calling, and And Quantic and Trav, like you guys setting the stage for this is dope, because I needed this conversation for sure. And so with that, I'll pass it back to one of you two. Take it away, sir.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chris and Colin, for sharing so much knowledge. And a big shout out to our audience today. We were kind of slow at the beginning in driving people here. So super happy to see that we have more Web3 souls in here. And I don't know, Trav, do you feel like asking something in particular right now? Or should we give it a chance to the people maybe in the audience? Because I have one question from the audience already.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, go ahead with that. Yeah, I've got a monologue I want to make, but definitely that question needs to take priority. So let's do that.
Okay, so the question is for Chris. I just tweeted about, imagine that you have a person that built a brand with 100K followers. What would you ask him? And someone replied, is it like you imagine? So that's the question for you, Chris. And also for Colin, this applies to you as well. So let's hear it.
Ooh, I love that question. And I think Colin will probably have a different take than I do, because at the point that I crossed the 100K mark, I wasn't even running that business anymore. I just built it with enough momentum and kind of like coal in the furnace that it crossed the line by itself. Listen to this. Every day I get requests on Instagram and an email where it's a shotgun style approach where they go, "Dear YouTuber, we really like your contents," like plural contents, "and we want to give you this thing that cost us 18 cents to produce. In trade, we want you to give us a $2,000 video." They don't say that. They say, "We want to send you a thing and it's really cool and you make a video about it." And I want to smack them right in their faces because I'm just like, you're a jerk, dude. What an exploiter. You're an exploiter of talent. Screw you. I don't like you. So, and that's very much like specific to the automotive segment that I was talking about earlier. But I just tell, like, I'll troll them every once in a while. Just depends on how bored I am. Like, I'm almost never bored in life. But if that day the spirit moves me to, boy, will I just start poking and provoking these terrible people, and just toying with them. I'll let them send me product too. I'll even make bad product reviews. I used to do that, but now that I'm away from the space, it's a waste of time. There's so much better positive things I could be doing. But the point is, at 100K, did my life change? No, not at all. Did people respond very positively when they saw my pretty silver trophy? Yeah, they did, and it truly felt amazing. But I'm very much of the Gary Vee approach of, if you're doing super well and everybody's throwing compliments at you, don't buy the hype. If you're in the dumps and you're feeling terrible and people are kicking you while you're down, don't believe the crap that they're saying. You gotta stay in the middle. You gotta be your own biggest fan. You gotta be your own biggest motivator, because if you're doing it because people are cheering for you, they will stop. There will be something that happens that is outside of your control and they will stop. And if things are bad and you feel terrible about yourself, that'll stop too. People forget. The attention spans are short. So this too shall pass situation, blah, blah, blah. You just got to stay right in the middle. And at 100K, the doors did not fling open. I did not get an outpouring of money. Nobody showed up at my front door with a big check. I got the same stuff happening. But the one thing that I will say is I look at it as it's an accomplishment that people recognize much further than tasks that may take the equivalent amount of time and energy to achieve. For example, if I was on some semi-professional men's baseball team, right? AAA, whatever, and I won some big thing, right? Like I won some big event, I got a big trophy or whatever, and I've got that in the background of all my videos. You know who recognizes that? Literally nobody, except other hardcore baseball fanatics. Maybe, at best. But if you've got that silver play button, I'm not saying that it means you're good. You could have made 3 funny TikToks that then you posted over to YouTube and they went super viral and you got your 100K that way. Could have happened like that. Or you could have grinded for 15 plus years like I did and achieved it slow and steady. Either way, everybody recognizes that trophy. They know what it means. It means that you're somewhere that is universally and internationally recognized as an achievement that has value to it, and it says something about the person with it, and it has inherent value cooked in. And so when I got the opportunity, and I'm curious how it was for Colin, when you get this message a week or two after you cross the mark from YouTube, they send you an email and it says, hey, you achieved the thing. Good for you. This is dope. Don't screw this next part up. You have one shot. This is a custom thing. What do you want to say on your plaque? And you have to write it in. Like, what you have to type in, what do you want your silver play button to say on it? And the one thing I was not going to do was give that silver play button to my business that I had not really walked away from, but lost my passion for. So I didn't put the name of my channel on my play button. I put my first and last name because it was me. I achieved it, not some stupid business. And it means a lot to me to have my name on there as opposed to my YouTube channel that I could talk to a million business people and they look at that channel and they go, oh, well, we don't make car stuff. And it's just like face palm, like, oh, bro, it's not about the car stuff. It's about the effort. It's about the video and the understanding of the analytics and the KPIs and the, like all the stupid acronyms that you can throw at business people. But it does mean an absolute lot to have that. And it also changes almost nothing. Nothing changes. I change. That's what changes me. So it's more of a bolstering up of who I already am and amplification of that more than it is like, oh, now that I have that, now things are really popping. Now it's like I'm at the next level and everything's easier from here. Like, nope, I don't think that. Colin, what about you, man? How was the silver play button experience? I think you were probably in it more than I was at that time.
Actually, sorry, Colin, before you jump in, I want to ask something of the audience here, and this is something that I don't usually ask, but this space is turning into something that's way beyond Web3 Matters. This space is about you guys and your journey. So I feel comfortable in Quantic. Let me know what you think here, but I'm actually going to ask people to share the space, give it a retweet, because I want the effects of this to be more exposure to you guys, your journey, the alpha that you're sharing. Like, you guys, just having both of you guys here with us today, just sharing so openly, all this just amazing, like literally amazing information is such a privilege. And I mean, I feel selfish, like just taking all this stuff for myself. And a lot of my questions are very kind of for my own growth in mind here, but I would love to be able to share this with other people. Like, this is an amazing opportunity. So Quantic, how do you feel about me asking people with us here to share this space?
Absolutely. Like you said, we have essentially two superstars from YouTube right now, and you can ask everything. So let's do that. We have a pinned tweet there with a link to the space. So if you guys can give it a like, comment, and retweet, we will be we will really appreciate that. So anyway, let's give the mic back to Colin.
I definitely have to feel very similar to how Chris felt getting it. I mean, I grew up on YouTube, like 2010. I was watching YouTube, and like the dream, or like it would be insane to have like a YouTube play button. And there were like a lot of ideas behind it too, where it's like, well, when you hit that level, you're gonna be making all this money. You're gonna be like on top, and it's like, well, less than 1% of, like, there's 100 million YouTube channels out there, and like less than 1% of those ever get like a silver play button. And so it's, and that's like, that was the perception. And once I do have it, like I've got it sitting over here, and it is crazy to look at and surreal that I have grown this bigger following. And there's a sense of like accomplishment. Like, what I tried to do with my silver play button, I tried to put on there 99% perspiration. I wanted them to write on there. They wouldn't do it. because one of my favorite quotes is from Thomas Edison, which is genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. And I feel like that's what took my channel. I put in the work, the effort to make this happen. They wouldn't do it. I had to do my name. So I at least have that. But at the same time, when I did get to that spot, and as amazing as it did feel, like it isn't a source of happiness. And that was definitely something I was going through a few years back, is defining what exactly is happiness, what is success. And like, in my opinion, the only way to really be happy is to have an unconditional happiness, to have something that's not dependent on things I can't control. Kind of a very stoic way of looking at things. So, it's cool. You'll get those things, but then like a week or two later, it fades off. And now it's like, oh, now I got to get to that gold play button. Man, that'd be great to get the gold play button. And then after that, it's going to be the 10 million and get the little diamond one. So the goals constantly change, and then you're forever stuck, in a mental rat race of trying to find this happiness in stuff and possessions and awards that doesn't really exist. So it is awesome. It is super cool, and I do feel very accomplished for hitting that spot. But yeah, also the money doesn't roll in. I wasn't a full-time creator when I hit 100K. I was still working a regular job. I still had people, like Chris said, reaching out to me and being like, do you want to review this hair removal thing on your YouTube channel? Like, you didn't even look at my YouTube channel. I don't even talk about this. What are you on?
Hey, Colin, really quick.
So
I just saw we got a little flash up at the top, and I just want to tell Quantic really quick, and I hate to even cut in and say this. The space might die right now, so everybody, if you want to join back, come back. Quantic, if you can, kill your Twitter app and relaunch it and join the room, and you'll reconnect without rugging the space. If you don't do that, it's probably going to rug in about 10 seconds or 15 seconds or some kind of seconds. But if it does, we can all come back. Just follow Trav. You'll start a new one, or Quantic. But hopefully Quantic isn't here because he's restarting Twitter. This is just what happens. Clubhouse was better. Twitter's terrible. Come back if this space rugs. What's up, Jay Chains? I see you down there. Love you, sir. Quantic, why are you giving me hearts? You're not even supposed to be here. Did you restart the app? Let me know.
Wait, what should I do, man? I'm not going to press end, but I can.
He's rugging.
Quantic, I heard you there for a sec. Yeah, literally just close the don't end the space. Just close the app, and then open it again, and then jump back in the space.
Okay, I will do so.
Beauty.
It's terrifying to do that if you're a host, because you're like,
oh yeah,
if I leave, it'll die. But it actually, Twitter gave us an update that made that possible. And we'll just see live. Does it happen? Do we all just fall to the wayside? Are we about to hit the Twitter abyss? Time will tell.
There will be no. Well, yeah, that's true. we'll see what happens and roll with the punches, as you guys say. While we're waiting for, actually, you know what, Colin? Yeah, I want to give the mic back to you, my friend. I want you to finish your thought here. Make sure you've expressed everything that you wanted to here. Yeah, all yours.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is, well, I guess going back to the question, like, is it everything I imagined? No, not necessarily. There's a lot of things there that you think will be there when you get to that point, but aren't. I think what I did learn was more valuable is to focus on, you can't necessarily. You may think having the bigger audience is then going to allow you to pursue different, monetizable projects and things like that. But you can do that with a small channel. When I got up to that size, I found people who were full-time with less than 10,000 subscribers. And I was like, Dane, why didn't I just start like working on making money right out the gate versus thinking, oh, I've got to wait to I'm a bigger channel, bigger following to actually do this. But if you got 1,000 true fans, and those true fans pay you $100 at least in some way, shape, or form in a year, that's $100,000 there. So you don't need necessarily the big following. So yeah, I'll wrap it up with that.
That's so cool, man. I'm the one thing I'm really appreciating here, and this is a theme to so many spaces that we do host, is no matter what we're talking about, it always comes back to finding satisfaction in the journey and not being so preoccupied with the destination, with the metrics. That's kind of hollow dopamine hits that really don't sustain you in the long run. By enjoying the journey, enjoying the small wins as they come. By the time you get to that final destination, it won't feel super anticlimactic because 9 times out of 10, it always does. So I'm appreciating that there's that humanistic element to this conversation here. And it all kind of comes back to keeping that perspective, don't getting so kind of riled up, like you were saying, Chris, in the hype or even in the FUD that's inevitably going to come your way. Find that middle ground, continue doing what brings you joy, and sprinkle in, a component of being of service to others. And that really does seem to be such an important recipe just for happiness. Like, that's why we're all doing this. That's why we're all creating content, why we're creating videos, why we're, here every day grinding is we inevitably want to be happy. So I love that perspective. And I'm super grateful for both of you guys for sharing it. And then the one last thing I wanted to talk about, Chris, and I really just want to acknowledge this, is that makes me so happy to hear that this space is filling you up, my friend. That's all. That is like my number one insecurity of being a co-host, is to just drain my guests. I want you to be able to get just as much out of this as I am. And I can certainly relate to that feeling of being in specific spaces and basically you're just talking, and by the end of it, you're just drained. So very, very familiar with that. And it's tough. It's not easy, man. That energy level, and you kind of feel like a zombie at the end of it. So man, I'm just super grateful that you're getting energy from this, and that makes me super stoked. So anything that I can help do to support that, let me know. You seem like a very upfront guy, no BS. So please call me out if anything threatens that energy management for you. And let's keep this going. I'm not sure how you guys are doing for time here. So if at any point, you have to hit, just let me know, and absolutely we will respect that. And until then, I'd love to kind of keep going for a little bit here. I see your mic's hot there, Chris.
Yeah. No, I was just going to tell Colin too, like, no expectations. You popped in randomly. Like, I freaking totally threw a spotlight and was like, oh, let's talk to Colin. So I'm sure, like many people, things get busy. Zero obligation to stay. If you need to dip, seriously, don't worry about it. Don't feel like you got to stay at all. I'm feeling it for the moment. This is the thing too, is about yesterday. Dude, I loved all those things that I was doing yesterday. I loved helping in each one of those things. I'm very, I don't know. When I'm not the guy that you just explained, when I'm not the guy who's no bullshit, who's upfront, who speaks directly to you, or will even like cut my buddy off because I don't want Quantic to rug the space. Like, I'll do that. You know what I mean? If you're gonna come up and interrupt the stage, I'm the guy that will call you out. If we got to have a talk around the corner in person, man to man, like, we could do that too. I'm okay with the awkward side of that stuff. Having said that, yesterday, I loved the spaces that I was in. I just did too many of them. I just totally poured myself out too much. And just like a mom still loves her kids when she's been slaving away nonstop, everyone's making a freaking mess. She's cleaning up. She's making sure one kid doesn't razz the other one too much. They're screaming and all this chaos. It's not like she doesn't love the kids. She's just spent. She loves them. She's working hard. She's down for the stuff she's doing, but she's just spent. So that's typically the situation I walk into after I'm done with work for the day. And my boys drive my wife crazy at spring break right now. But yeah, no, I did just want to say that hearing from other creators, it's almost like if you grew up speaking a language in your your native tongue, your native land, and all that stuff, and then you move away from that and you just haven't heard that for a long time, and then somebody from your spot where you grew up, they end up in a place where you're at, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, like, oh yeah, remember this, remember that. You're speaking Italian or whatever it is, that how that looks for you, and it's like those are your people, and it charges you back up, and it feels good to have those conversations. I have been almost solo in this Web3 space where full-time content creators are not here yet. They're just not. The people that are here, that are content creators were born here as content creators. So they've come up in this crypto Twitter space, and it's very hard to break out of when all you know is what works on Twitter and how to grow. It's a very different dynamic than literally anywhere else on the internet. It's not like that other places. And so that's a good and a bad thing. It's a double-edged sword. But I will just say, like, they're coming. They will be here. When the barrier to entry is not so stupid, because it is so dumb right now. The acronyms are going to change. The way that we communicate value is going to change. The landmines that we're asking people, like, hey, let's go skip through this little Willy Wonka chocolate factory together. Look at all these cool things here. Oh, just don't step there. You'll lose a leg, right? Like, there's landmines everywhere, by the way. Everything's beautiful and dangerous here. So, you know, that's going to change. But when it does, content creators are going to flood the space, and they're going to bring in a lot of different people that will change the look of this space. And we're not there yet. It's not cool to be here right now, which I'm stoked that Colin's here and that he has that Web3 interest, because I'm going to tell you, when I see my friends from Clubhouse join in on Twitter Spaces and they're talking about, video and all that stuff, these people, by and large, do not care about Web3. And I don't want to tell them that they should. I don't want to pry them away from the thing that's paying their bills and making them money, because it's a pretty hardcore learning curve. And when it's the right time, they're going to show up. So, yeah, but that was a giant monologue. I'm good at those too, or bad at those, whichever way you want to look at it. But Colin, yeah, I appreciate you, brother. And Quanic, how is the not rugged host position doing over there for you, brother?
Man, it was crazy, a crazy experience. I don't know how I'm going to recover from this experience. I'm going to need some therapy, but I don't know what happened in between. It seems so that Colin might have to leave. Is that correct?
I can still stick around for a bit. I can probably be here in another 15, 30 minutes.
All right, amazing. Because I do have a question, like to help the audience, because it has been established already that the best way to do regarding all the video work is to just start right away, right? So I can imagine someone in the audience, including the host, asking themselves, okay, I want to start, but I don't really know exactly what to do. I'm going to take my phone and do what? Okay, I know how to talk about NFTs. Let's imagine that I'm going to talk about that. Then what tool should I do? How much edition should I make? How deep should I go into that? Or maybe I shouldn't care about that at all. How would you approach that?
Well, I'm curious what Colin's take is, especially if it's Web3 related. But to his point earlier, the fact that what you're going to be most comfortable doing is going to be taking your phone, hitting the record button, even with the selfie thing, for a minute, put aside the rear-facing camera conversation I had, but just, that you can push a button and talk to your phone and say something. And one of those things that you could say is to document your ambition, to be like, this is what I want to do. I'm going to go on this journey. I want to invite you to come on it with me. I'm going to see what works. I'm going to try to do some stuff. And I'm committing to posting more videos. And as I go, I'd love to have your thoughts or what do you think about this or what do you think about that? And just kind of invite people along so that it's a two-way thing and not yet another person on the internet talking at you. Because that's not, you know what I mean? We got enough of that. We got plenty of people telling you that they're a big deal over here, over there. Here's what you need to go do. Here's what you should do. Here's what you should fear. Like, that's everywhere. So inviting somebody along the journey with you, number one, it's a very easy way to start. It's very transparent. You don't have to be an expert. You could just literally say, I'm going to go on this journey. And then, the other part about that too is that people will share your wins with you, and they'll feel good when you do something cool. They'll be like, we did that together because I was there with you. So that would be my advice about getting started.
That is awesome, man. First of all, I want to quickly say your metaphor game is off to a whole other level. Like, I've recently realized the power of metaphors, and man, you do it. You win that game, and it's incredible. It really just makes all of these things that we're talking about so much more vibrant and easy to really process here. That point of trying to like foster right from the beginning that connection with your audience just makes so much sense. That's really cool. And that made me realize, I do a lot of talking to people, and that for my own personal growth, that could be a really, that's really going to help out, what it is that I'm trying to do here. So that's awesome, man. Colin, do you, any insights to that question?
Yeah, I think, first of all, Chris was totally on point, like documentation. Like when I started my smartphone content creation channel, I was not an expert. I didn't go to film school. I wasn't like a master of lighting. If anyone goes back and watches my old videos, you'll be like, ugh, that's that's pretty bad. But I was showing like, here's some different apps I found. This one allows me to color grade. This app allows me to make thumbnails on my phone. This one gives me this cool VHS effect. And I was just showing as I learned and started exploring this, smartphone content creation space. Um, so, and I also think like failure is the best instructor. Like, go out and get some failures under your belt, and you'll learn from that experience. Like for example, I'm right now trying to get into just the digital product space. I put out a course, I let people know about it, and no one bought. And I learned from that. I learned that, oh, hey, I got to actually look and find problems people have to solve. That'd probably be important for a course before I spend months putting it together. So, like, okay, well, we'll try that again. And especially something as simple as like content creation, like I've seen people where they don't want to put out a video until it's perfect. It has to be the right topic. It has to be the right title. I don't want it to be this poor quality thing. It's going to be poor quality. Like Mr. Beast would normally say, you need to put out 100 videos and they're all going to suck, but you're going to improve 1% on each of those. So every time you make a video and you post it, you'd be like, hey, I could have done a better hook to keep people watching in the beginning, build some interest. Or, hey, I said a whole lot of ums in that video. Next time, I'm not going to do that. Or one I did was I would pop I would like do with my like lips or my tongue at the beginning of every sentence, and it was like impossible to cut out. I was like, oh my word, this is gonna be so annoying. This is so horrible. Or more recently, I didn't plug my microphone in and recorded 20 minutes, and now I got to go back and do that. So there's gonna be plenty of mistakes along the way. You just got to get more failures under your belt and just start uploading content, and you'll eventually find what works. And when you do find what works, you 10x on that. And that's what I did. Like for all my failures on my channel, all of a sudden I looked at the videos that were performing well, and I was like, huh, there's a pattern here. A lot of these are tutorials where I'm just showing people how to do these different things. I was like, okay, let me 10x on that. And poof, my channel took off from there because I was doing what works. So go and fail some. I think that's a big key.
Man, that's awesome. That right there, what you were saying, I'm not sure if you were here for this, Colin, but I've been making videos now for maybe about 3-4 months. And each one of those failures I have made. And you're never really going to like, there's something between hearing it and then actually living it and experiencing those failures. It makes it so much more meaning and powerful and memorable when you actually go through that for yourself. So that's freaking awesome. That's super cool. That's a great question. And thank you guys for taking the opportunity to give us such awesome, insightful answers on that. And actually, maybe who's down here in our audience, she actually wrote a question here that I thought was really interesting here. And I'm curious about it as well. But just curious about the whole AI topic and video editing. Have you guys, or let me first off start by asking what your opinions are on it, and then if it's a positive one, do you guys use it? Do you recommend anything? Let's talk about AI and video editing here for a bit.
Dude, I'm so excited for multiple reasons. I'm on both sides of this, and here's the good news. AI is an amazing tool. And here's the other thing, because it's an amazing tool, most people are going to go in a certain direction, right? I am hardwired to know that if everybody is going in one direction, I should not go that direction. I'm very hardwired to know that I'm not a guy that goes with the crowd. I definitely go against the current and do something different. I feel like it's a trap. And I don't mean that in a bad way. That has nothing to do with AI. AI is fantastic. I think it's great. And before they kill us all, they're going to help us a lot. But I think that this whole idea of, the computers are going to make the content, and then we just get to kick back and hang out, that ain't going to work. I think it's going to be very clear. I'm seeing a lot of tweets that are full robot, full chat GPT, everything that makes you sound smart. And I know your tone. I know your style. I know your humor. And that ain't you, my friend. That is chat GPT. And I'm not. I feel like it's a crutch. Okay. Having said that, boy, am I excited about some of the stuff my friends are building. Check this out. My buddy's got this thing that he's building, and I'm going to give you like the very fringe details of it. You come up with an idea, it makes you a video with your voice and your captions the captions are generated by the story that it produces by your one little one-liner input, and it spits out a whole short form video with graphics, with your voice, with captions, all that, and you didn't do anything besides write one sentence. That's pretty dope. I'm going to arbitrage the absolute hell out of that for various topics just because it's going to be fun, and then document that whole process. And I promise that stuff will outperform boring paragraphs from ChatGPT that are auto generated and then like scheduled out to your tweets. I think that's an ingredient. I think it's a great start. I think it's something that you can do, and then you can bolster that up with some really cool images or video of you. I think the combination of the two things are powerful. So if you've got an organic video of you talking about the subject that your chat GPT wrote you a cute paragraph on, I think that combination is way stronger than just one or the other. I absolutely think it's stronger than just showing your video about the thing, because you can just kind of make a Cliff's Notes version of that paragraph on video talking to your phone. Low barrier to entry, doesn't have to be super high quality. You don't have to use the rear facing camera, but you should. And I think that AI is really cool. And on the subject of that was pretty meta. I'm working with an editor right now who uses Descript. That's what he likes to use. That's what he's been using, and I've never used it as a video editor. So I just paid the company called Descript, and they have a tool. Like, it will go through the whole thing. It'll transcribe the whole video. It'll break it down into sentences, and then you can remove repeated words. So if you've ever heard somebody say something and they'll be like, so if you remove the words, you just remove all those extra so's that I threw in there. And then when you watch that video, you're not even touching the video editing itself. You're just deleting words from a paragraph, right? Or you're just doing a find and replace. Find all the kill them. Just remove them. And somehow it just blends the video nice. And they even have kind of like my buddy's tool that he's working on, where you can program it with your voice, load up enough samples, and then if you said a word the wrong way, you can just rewrite what you should have said right, and then it will spoof your voice to blend right in there and correct the thing that you said incorrectly with your own voice. That's pretty fantastic. So I won't go further on AI. I'm here for it, and I'm terrified. Go ahead, Colin.
Definitely terrified as well. It's definitely a useful tool right now. Like, not only that, like Descript and just being able, like, simplifying the editing process using that, but there's even like other tools built in that, I'm thinking of like the smartphone side, like being able to I think it probably falls into artificial intelligence a bit, is like being able to have auto captions. Like anyone can use that for free in CapCut, or you can get a different app in case that gets banned, because there are other caption apps. Like where it can just auto detect what you're saying, throw up captions on screen. Whereas in the past, you'd be typing that out word for word if you wanted the captions, or making them long captions. Or even I think of like Adobe Podcast, where you just put your audio in and poof, it's like sounds incredible. Like even using simple tools like that, like that's it's just crazy. So yeah, at the same time, I've also seen the same people using like write me a book and to chat GBT, and then they go and post it on Amazon without even reviewing it, making sure the information's accurate. So it's definitely in the tool stage. But I think with in light of all this and everyone's interest and all these like apps coming out that are also like chat GBT related or that use chat GBT, I've even seen like auto like email writers and different things like that come out. I think it's definitely going to simplify the process for a lot of things. And I'm sure we'll see a lot more of those video editing tools come out as well. Hopefully more on the mobile side. Definitely on the computer side, we're seeing that stuff.
That is going to save so much time. And what I'm really loving about these things that you guys are talking about is it diverts time away from the grind, and it allows you to be more creative and to come up with more awesome content and be more mindful and there's a word I'm looking for again, but it's not there. Just have more energy geared towards actually doing the most important part of content creation, and that's the creative component of it. Really cool, man. I'm really looking forward to checking some of these out. Actually, so here's something I'm kind of curious about. We've got one more question asked by one of our audience members here. I want to get to in a quick sec, but I just launched a video today, and it's a promo video for Web3 Matters. I just pinned it on top. I would be super curious to get your guys' insight on it. If you have any feedback, it could be an interesting thing to kind of go over live in Web3 Matters here. If that's something you don't feel like doing, that's also totally cool here, but I thought I would throw that your way and see if that's something that does interest you. While you're talking about that, I will ask a question asked by Bruce. Bruce is he's basically been here with us since episode number 1, stellar of a human being. He asked the question here: when editing videos, what is the perfect length for your videos? Especially considering if it's for marketing purposes, as in a sneak peek type of some new art, or teasing a new feature of my NFT project. I love it. Very specific question there, Bruce. So I wanted to kind of leave both of those things here with you guys, and wherever you would like to take it from there is your freedom to do so. So all yours.
For sure. Okay, so I am always the guy that I will shoot straight when it comes to videos. So know that when you ask me, because I will, not to be a savage or anything, but I'll just tell you what I think. The first
tear it apart, if you will, man. Please.
First words that started in your video were 18 seconds in. My videos are shorter than 18 seconds usually. Not all of them, but the ones that I'm making for TikTok or whatever. So that these are some things that I usually always say, and I very well could be wrong, but it's what I think. I think logos don't belong in the beginning of videos. I think people's attention is so short that if you even take the time to say what your name is at the beginning of a video, you've included information that could have been added as a lower third, a little thing on screen without you actually having to say it. It could have been something that you put in the actual tweet or in the description or whatever. Every second counts on these videos, and I've seen short form videos impact long form big time on that, because you can't have a welcome. You can't have a, hey guys, welcome back to the show. Hey guys, this and that. This is what I did last thing. But like, there's no time to waste, I'd say. And so one of the biggest things, because I have this talk with CEOs a lot of the time, and I say, CEO, I know you built something amazing. That's fantastic. I'm proud of you. Nobody cares what your name is. Nobody cares how your logo looks. Don't start your first impression with all these new people who don't give a shit about you by talking about yourself, saying what your name is, showing them your logo that you're proud of. They don't care, and they shouldn't care. Start with something that's for them, such as, and this is a Mr. Beast thing for sure, such as let them know they're on the right video. Because if your title says something in your video or your thumbnail has something, and just hang out in your video, and they're going to get that basically reward for themselves for clicking, just let them know that that's what's coming. Like, let them know at the very, very beginning of that video, you are in the right place. I'm part of NFT God's 1% Club, and somebody posted up a video of them, them just kind of doing something, and they're asking for critique. And the first words that came out of their mouth were 7 seconds in. I looked over at the latest Mr. Beast video. I saw what the title was. I saw what, kind of the whole idea was with the thumbnail and all that. I clicked on it, and within 5 seconds, God, I got to read this. It's so crazy how intensely in tune with all this stuff Mr. Beast is. Jimmy's absolutely crazy. But he had said something that was so compelling in 5 seconds. And in that 5 seconds, the other guy in his video, it was his logo. He was just spinning around and doing stuff. And there's just like some background music. There was no talking. There was absolutely nothing else happening. And Mr. Beast pops in. He's standing on the top of a train. It's flying down. They're filming. Granted, you don't have to do that. You don't have to stand on top of a train. But he basically says, the guy sitting behind me is an assassin. If he stabs me with this rubber knife in the first however many seconds, he wins $100,000. He packed all that into 5 seconds. You click the video, and in 5 seconds, Jimmy tells you all that crazy stuff. You're like, whoa, I am staying in this video. And the other guy's video, it was just a spinning logo. So that's my very long critique of the first 18 seconds of the video. Dive right in, let people know that they're on the right video and that there's value in there waiting for them, and just give them that kind of, just reaffirm that, right? That's the first impression. Let them know they're in the right place. So that's the first bit. I totally forgot the second question because I talked so long.
It's okay, Chris. Thank you for the feedback. What video were you referring to, by the way?
I have no idea. It's the one that was an hour ago. Let me hop back over. I was watching that on. Okay, so I see Trav has. It's a 2-minute and 33-second video, and it's like an intro about space, about video editing, and all that stuff. So I think that's kind of a blanket statement for the room. But if there's another video you want me to look at and monologue for 18 minutes, I will do that too.
Oh, I was okay. Like you said, like everything you said was very valuable, and thank you for the amazing feedback. I was just in the very beginning when you're like, oh yeah, the first 18 seconds, I was like, what video is he talking about? Like, am I missing something? Did I post a video on my account that I don't even know about? Like, what's going on here? But I think from all of what you said, Chris, the main thing I got was make sure you grab the audience's attention early, so they're just hooked for however long your video is. And the second part of my question was, in terms of my project, and since it's an NFT project, do you have any advice on sorry, I worded that wrong. Just the length in general of like a sneak peek or a trailer. I'm guessing the shorter the better, like under 30 seconds to really grab their attention and make them wanting more, I'm guessing is what you're going to probably tell me.
Yeah, okay, so I think this is the important distinction to make too. If it's short form and knowing what your KPIs are, that's super important to know. If you're just trying to get people into a Discord, it's going to be different than if you're giving some background on the founder. And it's also going to be different than if you're talking about a giveaway, or it's different than if you're going to be giving an announcement about something new. It's also different than if it's an achievement that you want people to know about. Those are all very different topics. They're all very on the money when it comes to NFT projects right now. And I think there's a place and there's a format that works best for different versions, right? So if it is going to be, you popping in, and let's say you could be showing the NFT itself, and you might have some motion graphics and some cool sounds. Like, that's a very kind of generic approach to it. But it's also, kind of like what the space is used to. So I can't say that I love the approach of just graphics and just text. but it is what people see. Keep that one nice and short. You know what I mean? If things are flying around and there's 3D little collages and there's all this awesome stuff, most people don't realize that's just a template in Premiere, and you just attach the folder to it and then change the text. But like a lot of people think that that's like amazing talent, and let them just keep it short, because now you've got that kind of like box checked. If it's a founder talking about their past experiences and their big wins, number one, and this is the CEO thing that I said before, as long as the founder comes in and starts talking about the viewer and why they need to care, good. The founder comes in and says, "Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You might know me from such films as," and like all the background. Nope, that ain't it. It's not going to land. Nobody cares. You're another rich guy in a space filled with rich guys. Like, got it. So started off valuable, making sure that those things are important. I'm a good bet. I'm somebody you can trust because XYZ. Like these things that have been accomplished in the past, that's what I bring to Web3. Those are the kind of things people just need to know. And then giving them that kind of like a crumb trail of like, find more about me here. You know, like if they choose to go down that road, then they can. There's so many more, and I'll hit another couple of them. If it's something that is about the project that is somewhat in depth, that you would typically be having an AMA about it. That AMA is going to have 55 minutes of fluff and 5 minutes of high value. Cut out that 5 minutes and post that as a standalone video. That can be a 5-minute clip that lives on YouTube. You don't have to have a little short that leads to that. You just make sure that people know, guys, we got a YouTube channel. If you want to hear the same pitch 27 times, go to my YouTube channel, watch the same video 27 times. We're not going to keep repeating it in all these AMAs. And we're not going to get mad that you asked the same question. What we're going to do is we're going to give you a link. And that link is going to be the go-to move. Anytime somebody asks that question, no one else has to butcher it and say it halfway wrong. They just drop the link. And now you've got that existing content working for you 24/7. And then I think the last of that too is that like if there's announcements, do it in a blend between written and video form where you're not just being redundant. If you ever watch a presentation and somebody's got literally their PowerPoint presentation and they read it word for word, it's excruciating. It's the worst thing to sit through. You're like, okay, asshole, I can read. I don't need you to read for me and poorly read for me. I'm doing it here in my seat, and then I'm listening to you slowly attempt to do the same thing from stage, and I'm trying to disappear right now. Don't do that to people. Put the information out there that they need to know, the achievement, the announcement, whatever, and then give them more information in the text format that fills the gaps so that you don't have to do the boring stuff in the video. Keep it entertaining at all costs. Like I swear, entertainment is amazing. Education is amazing, but if you have education without the entertainment, everyone falls asleep and they don't care and they leave. So edutainment is the way forward, and you got to have that blend between those two worlds in the pieces of content. And if you can fill in the boring gaps with the text, do that. Don't make the video boring because you're being thorough, because what you're actually doing is you're killing your audience retention and the ability to actually pay attention because they have to sift through boring to get to the value. Woo! I love these things, man. I could keep going. I won't though. Let's pass it off to somebody else.
Man, dude, I need to take a moment and just extend my gratitude to you once again there, Chris, and you too, Colin. Man, you guys are like, this is a full-blown educational course for any budding video editor out there. Like there is so much value being shared and just given to us today. This is incredible. So before I go any further, I know you guys both do offer video editing courses. If you can or would like to post them up top just so people know how to access those things, please do. Also, let us know any way that we can support you guys as content creators, support anything that you are working on. I would love for you to be able to get as much value as you can from this platform today. So please feel free. But also just want to check in with you, Quantic. How are you doing? Are you absorbing all of this? And is your mind as blown as mine?
Yeah, my mind is as blown as yours. I'm taking notes just like you. And yeah, actually, guys, if you can post like links to your courses, that would be amazing because that way more people can join as well. So I think that, there is so many things to touch upon this subject. But I don't know, guys, if we should try to give another shot to questions in the audience. Or maybe we can proceed because on my side I have more questions, and I'm probably sure that you, Trav, also have some questions. What do you think, Trav?
I think that's a good idea. Also, or the good idea that I'm referring to is let's ask the audience. Do you guys have any questions here? Do you have any kind of burning things you'd like us to talk about? Do you have any hot topics you want to bring to the table? By all means, either come on up, add a request to speak, or just add it in the comments. We're keeping a close eye on those, and just being mindful of time. We have been talking now for almost 2 hours, so. I want to leave that with everyone. We will be wrapping it up relatively soon because I absolutely respect Chris and Colin, both of your time. I don't want to kind of be selfish and keep you here with us all day. So moving forward, Quantic, those are my thoughts. What are you feeling, my friend?
Sure, man. I lost track of time. I'm really sorry. So this is one of the times in which we tell once again our audience to that we are super grateful that you guys are joining and supporting Web3 Matters, and we want to stress that Web3 Matters because of you, because of the human connections that you make here in this space. So if you can make something today, please do give a follow to the friends that are right here in this audience, because we're all content creators in the end, and we all want to connect and share values and ideas. So the next question that I have for both Colin and Chris is regarding building on another platform, right? Because you guys come from YouTube, and this is Twitter, crypto Twitter specifically. And how do you feel about that? What are like the main difference? Is there something that you like more from this platform than from others? What are the main opportunities? I would like to hear about that.
Why don't we start with Colin? I'd love to hear from him. And I don't know how much time he's got left, but I know we'll wrap up soon. But Colin, what do you think? Where do you like to build, and how do you like to build when you're there?
Yeah, my favorite place to build. I do enjoy like Twitter very much, but definitely if I'm building content, I'm a YouTube nerd. I'm gonna be honest. That's where I like to build content, mainly because number one, 3 billion active users worldwide, so just about everyone's there. You got young people. You have like 50% of boomers on there daily. So very large audience pool. But also when I post videos, they live on. It's not like a TikTok where I post once and then a week or two later, it's gotten all the views it'll ever get. Like when I post on YouTube, I've got videos from 2019. They'll still get a couple thousand views every single month. So content can really live on the platform for a while and be evergreen, depending on which kind of content you're putting out. And it's also just like an incredible like top of sales funnel. So if you do want to send people to a Discord group or an email list or a product or service, like that combined with content that can live on for a really long time, then you get into the spot of my videos are just working for me 24/7, bringing people into a Discord or an email list or something like that. And it's just autopilot. Obviously, you'll still upload content, but the more help you have working for you, the better. So that's my preference to build. I do like. I'm not as heavily on Twitter. I might end up being more on Twitter in the future. I do love audio spaces. I'm a big Clubhouse nerd, so I'm on there daily still. There's a big creator community there that I'm a part of. Like creating content there. But yeah, that's me.
I love it. Hey, and Colin, you weren't here earlier when I was talking about this, but you're a great example of it. So if everybody goes and checks out Colin's link in his profile, if you click on that, it takes you to his site. So he's got multiple things that he can put on his site. He can lead you to a forum. He can lead you to a channel. He can do whatever. If you go to his YouTube channel, there's a link. It's the same thing. And you can decide what landing page on your site you want people to hit, depending on where they're coming from. That's kind of all the way to circle back to my metaphor earlier about all roads lead to Rome. We're on one of those roads right now. It's called Twitter. There's another road to Rome in Colin's world, and that is YouTube. And so you're able to build out those different paths. It could be Discord. It could be all these different individual roads that ultimately will lead you back to where Colin has something there for you. And I think here's the thing too, to kind of double up on the idea of where to build, and does YouTube, when you hit the 100K thing, does it change everything? There's also this fallacy that comes down to, if I do an online course, will I be rich? Bro, no, you're gonna suck at your first online course. It's gonna be terrible. You're not gonna make it easy. It's gonna be all these stupid steps. It's not gonna make any money. So you might as well start trying to make your first online course and failing some, because that's how you're gonna get to the destination that you want to get to. And then after all that's said and done, like, is it something that you're going to want to keep up with? Because if you stop feeding the top of the funnel, then the funnel stops generating any money. And if you don't have your YouTube or your roads to Rome properly laid out, then people aren't going to get to Rome. And let me just say this. I don't do all these things just because I'm nice. I try to be helpful. But at the end of the day, like, I'm building my future and my family, and I'm creating something. So when I say I lead you to Rome, that means I make money. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to make it from you, but I can make it from somebody that sees that I have answers for them. Maybe they want to, pay to get on a consulting call, or maybe their collection needs to have like an advisor, or like whatever. You could dress it up however you want. At the end of the day, where I place those money-making products or services is in that place that I'm building, which is my ground. It's not YouTube. If Twitter goes away tomorrow, I still have that. If Instagram goes away tomorrow, I still have that. It's all these different ways. If email gets bombed and then there's no more email, I still got SMS. I can still text you. There's so many different ways that you can get to Rome. And so I think as a creator, when you start realizing that you can just build out all those different paths to get to that place, it kind of helps you decide, where do you want to build? So to bring it back to that question, where do you want to build? Do I want to build in LinkedIn? Sure, of course I do. But do I need to build on LinkedIn right now if I'm not ready, if I haven't really finished that road from Twitter to my website, or if I haven't really made a clear path from YouTube to my website? Do I need to be on LinkedIn yet? I would say, think about where's the biggest collection, the biggest concentration of the people that you want to reach. If you want to be a boring marketer, you call it a customer avatar. Just think about who are the people that you want to hear your words, and the people that you want to look at your website, because you have something there waiting for them. And then once you've built the thing that's waiting for them, then go to the densest population of those people and make sure there's a very clear, easy path, minimal clicks. Because every click, every requirement to make somebody click something, you lose a significant chunk of the people. That takes 3 clicks to get there. Cool. Well, had it only taken 2 clicks to get there, it would have got way more people, which means at the end of the day, more money, right? There's more conversions. Or screw money. Maybe it's more people that find out about the charity that you're doing. So more raised, or more awareness about a subject that you're, active and you're promoting, whatever it might be. So end of the day, conversions, you want to make it fast and easy to get there. And I think that kind of goes back to the whole idea of make it clear, make the path straight, make it easy to get to the thing you want people to see, and then have the thing there waiting for them once they arrive at that place. To me, that's a very kind of businessy approach to a lot of this stuff. And there's a ton of artists here that are like, look, bro, I just want to do my art. So if that's the case, then who are the people that can help you continue to do your art? Can you do your art and make no money? Probably. Do you want to live in a cardboard box? Probably not. So I would say, make it easy for people to support you so that you can do the thing that you want, even if you don't want world domination and to be internet famous and you just want to keep painting. then make it easy for the people that are going to be able to support you painting to do that, and don't make them click 3 times if you can have it to where they only have to click twice. That's it.
Man, my jaw's on the desk. So give me a second while I lift that up here. There we go. Now I can speak like a human being. Just wow. Amazing, man. Like this information here is so relevant in my life right now. And I know from a bunch of people here who I speak to quite regularly is just so valuable for them as well. You are really cutting down to the so many core points about something that's on all of our minds. How do we make this work? How do we use this space and use these mediums to get out of the rat race? And you are giving us the blueprint on how to do it. And that's awesome, man. Thank you so much for that incredible answer. Quantic, I want to give you the mic back just to kind of respond to the amazing answer that you were given, both from you, Chris, and yourself, Colin. Just so awesome. And then I had another question kind of formulating in my mind. So maybe I'll ask that whenever you're done there, Quantic. Quantic, all yours.
Sure, I will be super brief. Thanks again, Colin and Chris, for sharing all of this knowledge. So for the people in the audience, or maybe someone that is going to listen to this audio later, maybe on YouTube even, the context here is that, okay, we have here in crypto Twitter, we have a bunch of talented content creators that were just born kind of out of nowhere because they were good cheat poster, right? They were losing money with JPEGs and they were laughing about it. But suddenly some of them became sort of famous, right? So right now we are seeing this sort of collision between two worlds because we are seeing other content creators from other platforms such as Chris and Colin, who are very well-known YouTube creators coming in, and they are starting to share value and their opinions and their experience about it. And for us people in Web3, in crypto Twitter, it is like all of the things that we would like to know, right? It's like kind of the school for us. So yeah, I just wanted to make that comment about the context and give the mic back to you, Trav.
Awesome, Quantic. Awesome. Thank you. Very well said, my friend. Catch your breath. Very, very well done. That's I love the room resets. That's definitely something I fail to remember to do, and it's super important. So I appreciate you, man. Awesome. Chris, Colin, this is an unfair question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. I know it's the topic of video editing is so broad and can be so specific depending on the the area that you're using it for, the specific content that you are creating. But for people who are either brand new, looking to get into creating videos, what would be the top 3 to 5, whatever range that you would like to give, top 3 to 5 tips on how to get started or kind of how to take the videos that you are currently making to the next level? What do you got?
Colin first.
All right. So let's see. Some tips for getting started video editing. I kind of mentioned this before, but kill your intros. No fancy graphics. No, hi, my name is whoever, and I run this. And if you stick around on my channel, and subscribe and hit the bell and comment and like and share this to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Shut up. No one cares. They clicked on your video or they saw it in their feed based on what you wrote for the title, what the thumbnail showed. And so they clicked on this video. So you'd have to deliver that value right away. So something I would do, first and foremost is with video editing, nail that hook. And so there's a few things you can do with that. And I feel like this might be the spot where a lot of people's audience retention kind of dips. So some things you can do is before you edit, I personally script out my intros, word for word. So I know exactly what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it to make sure it grips someone in. An example of this, and this was a video that ended up getting 1 million views on Facebook. because I was uploading content there for a bit. So I was talking about a video on turning on a setting that basically prevents websites from gathering data on you. So originally I was like, your data could be stolen by hackers unless you turn on this phone setting, which, it's pretty decent, pretty good hook. But I had to adjust it because I thought, okay, someone clicks on this video and the first words out of my mouth are your data. That's boring. So I tweaked that script and that introduction, and I made the first word out of my mouth hackers. Hackers might steal your data unless you turn on this phone setting. So when someone scrolls, the first word out of my mouth is hackers, and that's going to instantly grab someone's attention. So by just making that adjustment, and then also the way I added some dramatic music in, some like intense, suspenseful music, which you can get free music online. Like YouTube has their own like YouTube music. If you're going to be posting across multiple platforms, I use a service called Epidemic Sound. That allows me to use the same music across a bunch of different platforms. So that's definitely a really good resource. So I found some like suspenseful music, put that in, and that video took off. And now I have like 5,000 like 50 to 60-year-olds following my Facebook because I made a video on protecting their data. But still, that was a tweak I did. Another thing that can really help that'd be easy to implement right away would be adding B-roll. So normally in like video editing stuff, you have A-roll, which is less like your main content, you're talking to the camera. But B-roll is when you show clips on top of your talking. So you will still be talking in the background, but there's other video clips playing. You can use a free service called Pexels. That's Pexels. It's a free app and a free website where you can get free stock footage and photos and be able to add them to video editing on your phone or on your computer. But like whatever you're talking about, what I'll do is once I'm done editing, I'll go through my project and I'll be like, oh, I started talking about content creation a bit here. Let me search content creator and I'll find a video of someone talking to their like phone or camera and I'll use that as B-roll. And by doing those little interrupts, instead of it just being a stale talking video, there's now these different video clips that can pop up, or even if you do like a photo, and there's something called like a Ken Burns effect, where there's like motion to the photo. Usually there's like an on and off switch in a lot of video editors. Just something where it's just not a basic stale video. It's very easy to kind of just drop those in throughout your video to do interest. But with that, I'll pass it to Chris.
Good. No, I loved all those because I'm sitting there. I'm like, yes, I love Epidemic Sound. Yes, I love this. I love all those different little things. And it's so funny. I would say, as somebody who's done so much video editing, to say that you zoom in a video versus using a Ken Burns effect. It's the Ken Burns effect. Everybody in video editing will know what you're saying. Saying zoom in or pan in or make the video get bigger. It's little. This is how we have to communicate NFTs and Web3 with normal people, like, because we know what we're saying. But when we make content and you say something like Ken Burns, like, it's so funny how limiting that is and how I knew exactly what he meant. And I mean, congrats to Ken Burns. I mean, my God, this guy is just as. I mean, he's got the biggest legacy on the internet when it comes to videos. Anyway. So something along those lines is changing the visual. And I'm a big fan of screen recording on my phone and bouncing back and forth. My video I posted last night, a lot of times I use my videos as like examples. I don't look at my videos like they need to be good. They just need to have information, right? So like I'm never the one that's like, look at what I did here. But it's usually something I can reference very fast. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll give a little tip about how to use an app or how to do something on Twitter. And so I'll be talking about it. And to Colin's point, the B-roll of it will be, I'll do a screen recording and then I'll pop up the app and I'll show the thing that I'm talking about. Because if you just talk about it, then I'm just a face with a moving mouth and sound coming out of it. But if I'm talking and I'm telling you about how I do something and then I show you it being done, then it actually hits home so much better. So visuals are super important for that. Showing it, if you're saying it, is kind of taking that to an even higher level. I love the idea of the background stuff. Big tip: if you're going to put music in the background, make it quiet. We don't want to hear that song that loud. We don't care about that song. I want to hear you. I didn't show up because it said there's a great song and a man talking. Like, no, like, just tell me the thing I showed up for, the value, and then like, cool, like some background music that's chill. It's not getting in the way. Boy, sound effects, same thing. Make sure those sound effects are not obnoxious, especially if you use the same damn sound effect over and over. Just flat out, don't do that. Don't use, if you're gonna make a whoosh, get 3 of them. I don't want to hear the same whoosh every single time you want to use transition or go from one scene to the next. Mix it up a little, for God's sakes. So those are a couple things, but I think the biggest, most important one is the hook, making sure. And I love that Colin said it was a word. The word was the hook. That's dope, because a lot of times there's little hacks that you can do with movement or with like big bulky letters where it's like the word that you say, you're just showing like a black screen, big white text. Like I've seen this on a lot of Mr. Beast videos. I've done it myself a lot of times. If you say 3 words at the beginning of your video, it's like boom, boom, boom. And you show that. And every time you say the word, it's displaying that word. And then it cuts to your face. The beautiful part is if you're doing this the right way, there's no reason for people to get bored, because you're hitting them with so many different layers of information, both the video, so their eyes have to look around the screen and see what's happening. Then the audio, they have to listen to what's being said. And then they also have to read the things that are being captioned. So you're giving them multiple things to do all at once. And here's the thing. I believe when it comes to short form video, give them too much stuff to absorb in one pass. And don't take the time to make sure that you're so crystal clear on everything that you say. If the video is short enough, then they're going to have to watch it again anyway, which is great for your audience retention, because now they've looped the video, they've watched it a second pass over. Now they get to see, what was that thing I saw moving in the corner that I didn't get to look at because I was reading the captions? Or what did he just say? Let me listen to it again so I can hear it more clearly. There's all these things that you can intentionally put to layer in there that are this. I completely blew past the getting started. This is like this is like strategy, me nerding out right here. I'm just going for it. My bad. Pick one of those things and do that. Pick the captions. Use an app called Captions app. It's for captions. It's called Captions. It's great. Descript has really amazing captions that I'm learning in there. My intern that I've been working with, that's editing for me right now, he's been doing really good waveforms. So it can be a squiggly line. It's audio responsive, so it actually moves in alignment to the audio that's being said. It's not just, a lot of times you'll see like people use waveforms that like have nothing to do with the actual sound. Like it'll be wiggling all over the place, but there's no sound at that exact moment. You're like, what? Okay. He's like, they're faking it. But Descript has a really good a dynamic waveform generator. So it could be a circle for the PFP when you're talking. It could be the line. It could be, I don't know, all these things. Those are all just individual things that you can throw at this. And I'd say don't worry about doing everything at once. Like, by all means, just make sure you hit publish, you hit post, and then make it the 1% better. So now you know that it took forever to do that one little new thing that you added, and you're like, damn, I can't imagine doing that every time. Then don't. Try something else on the next video. Find the things that work out for you, that feel good doing, and when you do it, you get to measure the results. Was it worth the time invested? Did I learn something? Can I do it faster next time? And then you could just build slowly but surely, layer those things out. But you won't get to do that if you're just editing over and over and changing up that video and never hitting post. I tell my clients that pay me to get the work done, I'm not going to edit your video, dude. I'm not going to go back and change it. You don't get revisions. We'll do it better next time. That's it. Because I don't want to screw your progress because of your insecurity of, oh, it's not good enough. Nope. you CEO that cares about your logo and your name being dropped, doesn't matter, bro. Your worry that it has to be perfect is also incorrect. It's just got to be 80% perfect, and then we'll work on it next time. And if we suck and we keep making that same mistake, fire us. But if you keep telling me to micromanage my editor and make his life miserable, I will fire you, Mr. Moneybags. Got that? That's it.
So we're gonna take a cut on this part, and we're gonna make content just about that because it was so amazing to hear you this last part, man.
Oh man, and I was gonna say that last little bit, I feel like that was Chris's personality shining, and I love it. I absolutely love it, man. Let me tell you, I am also sitting here geeking out because I can actually understand most of the things that you're talking about when when you're getting into the more technical terms now, because I did, like you said, I just started. And it's amazing, and I will attest to this, how quickly you pick things up, how quickly you learn, how quickly your content evolves. And honestly, it all begins from literally just starting. Like, make that first video. I'm so happy that you talked on this one part, the whole part about perfectionism, because that is probably one of my biggest issues that I have when I edit or video edit. Like, I create a product, I create a video, and then I sit on it, and then I go back and I fix a couple things, and then I sit on it, and then I go back and I fix a couple things. The damn thing takes me like hours, if not days, to finally just put out there. The advice that you're giving me here is going to change my content creation trajectory, and I'm super grateful for it. And I'm also just saying this stuff because, again, it's evidence that it is so legitimate and it makes so much sense. So this is awesome. Yeah. Quantic, did you have any other burning questions? Where are we at for time? Actually, yeah. So Quantic, I want to ask you about questions, but then Chris and Colin, I want to ask you guys about timing as well. So let's get on the same page here. Quantic, where are you at?
I'm Colin, but I literally talked so much in this space so far that I killed my left earbud. It died. It's that. That's my signal. All right, Mr. Yaps a lot. Maybe put a pin in this, and we'll do more of them later. After having said I poured myself out too much yesterday, all I have to do is edit a bunch today. So this was the only talking space for me. But yeah, clearly, I killed the earbud. That's the universe being like, hey, dummy, remember yesterday? Okay.
Yeah, I know it has been an amazing experience listening to both of you guys, and it has been a while. Time really went flying this time, and I just want to invite you to maybe tune into a future spaces with us where we can discuss more about Web 2 content creation versus Web 3, because I think that is a whole new subject that you guys can provide value with, and we can have a nice conversation because we are crypto Twitter natives. But I don't know, Trap, what do you feel about that? I think it's a good time to wrap it out, and have a nice day.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. Let's wrap her up here today, guys. I just want to say, you guys being here today and being so incredibly generous with just everything. You gave us in-depth looks onto your journey, into your lives. You were vulnerable with us. You gave us just treasure troves of knowledge when it comes to content creation in general. And then so specifically to actually creating video content. So guys, from the bottom of my heart, seriously, thank you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for giving us your time. If there is any way at all that Quantic and I can support you in the future or even today, let us know. What you guys are doing here in this space is incredible. You are literally lifting up the people around you, empowering everyone with all of this incredible knowledge. So it would be an absolute pleasure to be able to help you guys out moving forward. So in saying that, I want to give you guys the mic for the final words here, and then we will wrap things up. So all yours.
Call on over to you, sir. I'm going to cut you loose and release you back into the wild.
All right. Maybe final words would be, don't go and just take everything we've said and then not go and make content. Get out there, pull out your phone, turn on the camera, click record, and if you haven't uploaded a video yet, go and upload your first video. It can be 30 seconds. It can be a few minutes. Just start getting, you got to get more at bats. If you want to get good at content creation, you can't just upload 10 videos and wonder, wow, why aren't I making good content? Like, you have to actually get more at bats and kind of get used to making videos so you can improve and adjust and get comfortable on camera, and get used to looking at the right lens and all that stuff. So get out there, make content, and you'll improve over time.
Appreciate you, man. And I want to invite everybody else too. Like, yeah, keep coming back to these spaces. I am trying to empower, and it's why I spent so much time here today. I'm trying to empower other hosts to talk about content creation. I got some spicy takes on this. I'm a little bit more savage when I do my spaces and host, and I got the live stream going at the same time, and you got people that are joined there. Colin, I want to invite you to those too. Trav and Quantic as well. And we get you on camera during these Twitter spaces and layer that thing up. And no one does that, and the people that do suck at it. So I want to show you a better way. Having said that, there's so much to this. I mean, I look at it like I started this whole thing saying I was doing this because I found out that I enjoyed making skateboarding videos back in the day. And I used those skateboarding videos for branding to help build the local awareness about a local skate shop. And I got free skateboards from that, and it got me sponsored, and I got to do these fun things with my friends and make all these videos. And this is no different than what it is now. It's just now I might be sponsored by some, I don't know, tech company or some cool dude. Like I have a client that she's got something called Champagne Wives Club, and they're getting together talking about champagne and wine and having all these really cool conversations. And then they're using 20% of their income from that to send off as a charity for human trafficking. And like it's a bigger cause, and that's way more important than the stuff I talk about, right? But because of content creation, I'm able to play a small role in that and help somebody do something. So Web3 is super dope for that. I never was able to accomplish this talking about how to work on your car, you know what I mean, how to make your stupid car fancier or whatever. But having said that, I loved, to Colin's point, when people hit me up, and this is what changed my life. They'd say, you made a video that showed how to do something that I didn't think I could do. I watched the video, you simplified it, I understood what you were saying. I went out there, I tried it, and I did it. And now I know I can do something I didn't think I could do. And now I'm going to do it more. And now I'm going to use that to better my life or to make some money or to do whatever. And I believe in myself more now because you made a stupid YouTube video. That is so powerful to me. That's where my feels come out. That's where I'm like, whoa, this shit is big. This is a big deal. Not only did I get to help that guy, nothing, assuming Google doesn't go away, nothing's going to stop that video from going out and duplicating that process, replicating it over and over and over forever. There's nobody in my family who's going to be more famous than the guy who was the first one in his family to be out there on, like the internet that lives forever and stuff. So that has nothing to do. I don't want to be internet famous. I want to be impactful. And whether that's about cars or it's about content creation or Champagne Wives Club, or whatever, I just think that it's a really cool thing that you can do for yourself, for your family. I wish I could see all the amazing things my grandfather did or my dad did or other people in my family line, and I'll never get to see it because it didn't exist for them. I'm first generation that this exists for, that gets to use it and just absolute pump everything into it. My great grandkids want to know who I was. They'll know. They'll hear me talking. They'll see me. They'll hear my jackass sarcasm, and you know what I mean? Like they'll learn some life lessons from me or whatever and I'll never have met those people. So I think it means a lot. I think it's dope. It's a cool opportunity. And there's so much space. You're not late with that. Just because some jerk is internet famous at 18 doesn't mean that you, with all your wealth of experience and failures, can't share that and take people along the journey as you're just getting started. So just start. That's all I got. Okay, I'm done preaching. That's it.
If I may, Quantic, I just got to say, Chris, Colin, you came here wanting to make an impact, and you certainly have. Like, let me just illuminate that for you guys a little bit here, and I'm gonna make it a little personal. And this is something I share usually on our spaces here, but I think it's extra pertinent now. It's a little bit about my backstory and why I'm here. I'm only gonna take a couple of minutes, but I've only ever worked in healthcare. Being in this space, I've only really been here for a year and a half, 2 years. And a couple of years ago, I was a trauma nurse for 4 years and came down with PTSD and burnout and all that fun stuff. So I'm here personally looking for a better way to live my life. And like by you guys empowering me with this, personally, you are enhancing my life in a way that I need it so badly right now. And you are allowing me to work towards something else besides healthcare that has given me passion, like only ever healthcare has. So by you guys being here with us today and you sharing all of this information and your personal experiences and life lessons, you're making my life so much better in so many ways that I can't even describe in words. So for me personally, guys, like heartfelt thank you. Like you are making a huge difference here. And on behalf of Web3 Matters, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here, for being so generous with your time, with your information. This has been awesome. Quantic, where are you at, man? How are you feeling?
Feeling very grateful, to be honest. And yeah, I think that Chris touched upon the main point of why we're doing Web3 Matters, because we want to empower people, and you guys have done so today with us, with the host of these spaces, because we really needed to keep going with the videos and everything, and we were kind of lost, and we want to go to another platform as well. So thank you very much for taking this time, for sharing with all of us, and I hope that we can continue to keep in touch. I would love to join to your spaces as well, and to connect in other platforms as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Chris, I don't even know how you knew this, man, but Quantic and I, like yesterday, we were just having that conversation of how do we stream our Twitter spaces, and here you are bringing this up, man. Actually, it was from one of your videos on streaming that really ignited that, and I started looking into StreamYard and figuring out how to do all these things. So it would be a huge honor to learn more about this from you, Chris, and jump onto your spaces and take part. That would be a freaking blast. So my man, I'm looking forward to it. This is awesome.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that soon. I'm doing a workshop specifically on live streaming, teaching everybody. I don't think gatekeeping is the way. I think I'm better at it than anybody in the space because I'm full of myself. I'm also right, but there's that. I want everybody to know what I know. I want them all to know. If you do better than me, you deserve to win. So I'm here to see it. I would love to have that inspiration by watching other people do it cooler and better. And man, I don't care if I have to be the one that gives them all the ingredients they need to make that better thing. Make it, cook it, get cooking. I want to see it. I'm here for it. So we'll do that. We'll do that workshop very soon, and hopefully I can pull StreamYard and get them involved, and maybe do some sort of like I don't know, some sort of a giveaway, something cool. I just want them involved because I think StreamYard is a huge tool for Web3 and for all these spaces. So we will do that coming up. I'll ask you to make some noise and rally behind me to get StreamYard to show up and be part of that, and we'll do something really cool with it. So with that, I'm out of here, guys. I appreciate you big time, and super cool space. I'm 100% gonna go back through and have my team chop this up and grab different little chunks. I'm such a fan of the spaces like this that have valuable chunks of information, and if we could just capture that and put it into one little consumable piece for other people to not have to have spent 2.5 hours here, but to just hear a little 5-minute chunk. As many of those as we can get out of this, I'm here for it. So I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity to yap and create those pieces. Appreciate you, Colin, too, and I'd love to see you guys in all these content creation spaces, both from me, from you, and from the other creators here in Web3. So I'm here to support as well.
My man, my arms are in the air. I am fired up. Let's do this. Let's make it happen. I'm excited. I'm excited on life. I'm excited on being here. I'm excited to create content and collab with you guys. I'm fired up. This is awesome. Right on, guys. Colin, unless you had any final words here, I'm going to wrap it up. If you can either give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, if you wanted to have any last words here. Nope, perfect. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us. I think a lot of people have taken off already, but this has been an amazing, amazing space. Quantic, an absolute pleasure as always. Join us next week where we'll have another episode at the exact same time. The topic to be determined, but we've got a couple ideas. I think it's going to be pretty freaking amazing. So everyone, thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate your time. And moving forward, let us grow together. So much love, everyone. Talk to you soon.